एक्चुअली गुरु बहुत सारे हो सकते हैं, होने भी चाहिए, बहुत सारे लोगों से मार्गदर्शन रह सकते हैं। भागवतम में एक स्टोरी आता है अवधूत ब्राह्मण का, वो 24 गुरु बनाए, 24 गुरुओं से शिक्षा लिए, वो फैक्ट है। लेकिन क्या होता है, जब अभी क्या है, कोई गुरु से गाइडेंस नहीं ले रहा, मन से गाइडेंस ले रहा है, तो मन को गुरु बना के रखा है। मैं मान लीजिए मैं इनसे गाइडेंस ले रहा हूँ, इनने मुझे डांट दिया किसी कारण से, तो मेरा इनका मन खट्टा हो गया, मैं इनसे गाइडेंस लेने लग जाऊँगा। फिर आज इनने मेरे को कोई करेक्शन दे दिया, तो छोड़ो इनको, छोड़ो, उनके पास चला जाता हूँ। तो इसका अर्थ क्या है, तो किससे गाइडेंस ले रहा है व्यक्ति? पहले स्पिरिचुअल लाइफ में पहला नियम ये होता है कि हम एक किसी अथॉरिटी को सरेंडर करें, एक व्यक्ति के शरणागत हों, उनके मार्गदर्शन पे चलें, हम इस तरह उनसे ट्रेंड हुए। भाई डिसाइपल का मतलब होता है वन हु इज डिसिप्लिन्ड बाय द स्पिरिचुअल मास्टर, जो गुरु के शिष्य, मतलब जो गुरु के शासन को स्वीकार करे, जो अपने मन से चले, वो काय का शिष्य। तो वही बता रहा हूँ, दुनिया में सबसे डेंजरस लोग कौन है? जिन्होंने तिलक लगाया और कंठी वाला पहनी है लेकिन प्रैक्टिस नहीं करते, उड़िया में भरे हुए, उड़ीसा में भरे हुए हैं। आप देखा गांव-गांव में, आप बोले नाम जप करते हैं, शाम संकीर्तन करते हैं, संकीर्तन कर रहे पान थूकेंगे, संकीर्तन कर रहे पान थूक रहे हैं, मांसाहार कर रहे हैं, तो उनका मतलब सो कॉल्ड भक्ति दिखा रहे हैं लेकिन पाप कर्म सारा कर रहे हैं। तो इनको क्या बोलोगे? इनको बोलोगे आप हिपोक्राइट्स, चीटर्स। ये लोग बहुत डेंजरस हैं। अब इन लोगों के देख करके सामने वाले व्यक्ति को लगता है कि भाई ये इस्कॉन का स्टैंडर्ड है। इस्कॉन का स्टैंडर्ड नहीं है, इस्कॉन का बहुत बड़ा हाई स्टैंडर्ड है, पर ये नॉनसेंस लोगों के कारण पता चल, इस्कॉन का स्टैंडर्ड है। जैसे मान लीजिए अभी रात को बैठ के डिस्कशन कर रहे हैं, अरे इस्कॉन का स्टैंडर्ड सुबह उठो यार। इस्कॉन डिवोटी मतलब 4 o'clock उठना है, पहले 4 बजे से पहले उठने को इस्कॉन डिवोटी कहते हैं। ये नियम है, सीधा हिसाब है।
तो मैं जब आया था तो मंगल आरती में 10-15 जन 20 जन आते थे, अच्छा प्रश्न कीर्तन होता था। तो जिस दिन भी मैं अगर बाई चांस फेल भी हो जाता हूँ तो उस दिन मुझे अफसोस होता है कि आज नहीं जा पाया, कीर्तन नहीं कर पाया। अभी जैसे एक दिन के 2 दिन फेल हो जाता हूँ तो ऐसे कुछ अफसोस फील नहीं होता, हाँ होने दो, जाने दो, ठीक है।
हाँ, क्योंकि वो है ही नहीं, वो और ही नहीं है। तो इसलिए मैं उस पर ज़्यादा कंसर्न नहीं हूँ, लेकिन कंसर्न धीरे धीरे करूँगा। मैं पहले पुराने आदमी को बाहर करना पड़ेगा, पहले हिपोक्रेट्स को बाहर करना पड़ेगा। जो लोग प्रॉब्लम क्रिएट कर रहे हैं उन लोग को अभी तो ऑलमोस्ट बाहर हो गए हैं, आधे से ज़्यादा लोग बाहर चले गए हैं। अब नए लोग इंटेक हो रहे हैं, नए लोग इंटेक होने से अभी उनको हम ट्रेंड कर सकते हैं। बात मतलब सब सीधी सी है, ये जो हिपोक्रिटिकल बिहेवियर ये एक्सेप्टेड नहीं है। गाइडेंस नहीं लेते किसी, उससे मैं पूछ रहा हूँ किससे गाइडेंस लेते हो? बोले सबसे गाइडेंस लेता हूँ। जो सबसे गाइडेंस लेते हैं एक्चुअली किसी के गाइडेंस में नहीं है, वो मन के गाइडेंस में, उसका जो मन करेगा वो करेगा। गाइडेंस किसको कहते हैं, मतलब सरेंडर किसको कहते हैं? मैं इशारा दिखाया तो बोले छत से कूद जाए तो कूद जाए, ये होता है सरेंडर। प्रभुपाद के डिसाइपल्स इस लेवल पे थे। हम लोग की ट्रेनिंग इस तरह की है। हम जो गाइडेंस लिए हैं, हमारे काउंसलर हमको जिस तरह ट्रेंड अप किए हैं, मतलब जो करना है करना है, मतलब दिस इज़ दी लॉ, हमको करना है बस, गुरु ने बोल दिया, मतलब कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं। इस तरह ट्रेंड अप हुए तब तो हमारी क्वालिटी बढ़ रही है ना, धीरे धीरे एडवांस कर रहे हैं। हम कैसे थे अपने मतलब कॉलेज के बैकग्राउंड में, और ये लड़का जैसे कोई स्टैंडर्ड नहीं, इतने साल से प्रैक्टिस कर रहे हैं सो कॉल्ड, तो नाम नहीं खराब करेंगे। यही लोग तो नाम खराब कर रहे हैं। इनको देख के लगता है कि दिस इज द स्टैंडर्ड। मतलब 4 साल से प्रैक्टिस करने के बाद भी आदमी सुबह 8 बजे उठ रहा है। अब क्या बोलोगे उसको? दिस इज कॉल्ड हिपोक्रेसी। फिर जाके बोले हम इस्कॉन डिवोटी हैं। नॉनसेंस। एक बहुत बड़ा नियम है। छोटी छोटी चीज़ आदमी का, वो जैसे वो सूर्य है, सेल्फ डिसिप्लिन उसका कुछ नहीं है। खाने सोने का कोई टाइम उसका शेड्यूल नहीं है। खाने का टाइम सबका शेड्यूल है हमारे बेस में, उसकी कोई दिक्कत नहीं है। और उसके जो समय मिले सोते रहो, सोते रहो, सोते रहो। क्या करेंगे लाइफ में मुझे बताओ? क्या उनका प्रोग्रेस होगा? क्या उनका कैरियर होगा? इस तरह से तो आदमी, मतलब जिसके पास बेसिक उसके पास शिक्षा नहीं है, वो क्या भक्ति करेगा? बहुत ऊपर की बात है भक्ति। एनीवे, उन लोग के चक्कर में दिमाग खराब नहीं करेंगे। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So I'll just narrate one story and that story will clarify many things. So this is a very famous story. I think you must have heard. Have you heard the name of Parikshit? Who was Parikshit? Mahabharata. Who is the father of Parikshit? Who is the father of Parikshit? Abhimanyu. And who is Abhimanyu's father? Arjun. Who is Arjun's father? Pandu. So Arjun's son is Abhimanyu, Abhimanyu's son is Parikshit. So this is the story of King Parikshit. And so King Parikshit, when he was in his mother's womb, who was mother of Parikshit? Her name was Uttara. Uttara.
Virat's daughter.
Belongs to Odisha.
Utkal, yeah. I don't know, maybe. So Abhimanyu's wife was Uttara, and Uttara's and Abhimanyu's son was Parikshit. So when Parikshit was in the womb of his mother, Uttara, at that time Ashwathama released the Brahmastra weapon. At that time, Uttara, when she saw that Brahmastra was approaching towards her, and at that particular moment Krishna was leaving from Hastinapur and going back to Dwaraka, all after the Mahabharata war. At that time, Uttara approached Krishna. Krishna, kindly please protect me. Pahi pahi mahayogin deva deva jagatpate na anyat tad abhayam pashye yatra mrityu parasparam. I am deva deva jagatpate, O the master of this universe, O the lord of the universe, Jagatpate. Pahi pahi, kindly protect me. Mahayogin, you are the master of all yogic powers, mystic powers. Deva deva jagatpate na anyat tad abhayam pashye yatra mrityu parasparam. I cannot see anyone other than you who can save me from this danger. The death is imminent and it is approaching me. Kindly protect. And then she said, it's not that I need to be protected. You may protect me or you may not protect me. It is up to you. But kindly protect the son in my womb, the baby in my womb. Why? Because this baby is the only the Kuru left. So if this baby will die, then the whole Kuru dynasty will collapse. So you may protect me or you may not protect me. It is up to you. But kindly protect this womb. So what Lord did at that time? So Lord was sitting on his chariot. He was about to go to Dwaraka from Hastinapur, but simultaneously Lord entered into the womb of Uttara and he showed his four-armed form and tried to protect the embryo with his club, gada and his chakra disc. So this is how Parikshit was saved in the mother's womb. Now question may arise, why Lord used disc and club simultaneously? He could have used any one weapon. Why two weapons? What does it indicate? What does it show? What do you think? Why Lord used two weapons? Lord is supremely powerful. His weapons are supremely powerful. Even if he will not use any weapon, he can save Parikshit. Even if he will not enter into the womb, simply by his will he can save Parikshit. But he entered into the womb of Uttara, exhibited his four-arm form, and with his club and disc, he protected Parikshit. So my question is, why two weapons? Why not single weapon? What do you think, Akash? Why Lord is using two weapons? Why not single weapon? Any guess? No guess? Avinash, yeah. Any guess? I'll relate the mystery. So Lord is using two weapons because Lord is all powerful. Even with his single weapon, he can protect Parikshit. But he is using two weapons because he is thinking. Lord is thinking within himself. What will happen if one weapon will fail? Let me use second one. So the question arises: Lord's weapon doesn't fail. Why Lord is thinking like this? So Lord is thinking in terms of an ordinary mother. What a mother thinks. If someone's child is injured, what mother will do? She will call relatives, friends, neighbors, father, grandfather, sisters, everyone she'll call. Come, chot lag gayi. She'll call doctor also, she'll bring medicines also, she'll do everything possible out of panic. So this panic is because of love. So Lord is becoming panicked. I must protect my devotee in some way or the other. So he became panicked out of love for his devotee. The other day I was narrating this story, Sudama's story. Do you remember? Yes. That why Lord did not give anything to Sudama from front? Why he gave it from back? Because Lord was feeling that Sudama has given me something that does not belong to him, so I should give him something that does not belong to me. But everything belongs to me. So Lord was actually feeling very embarrassed, very shy. Here Lord is feeling panicked to protect his devotee. So Srimad Bhagavatam, these different episodes give us the understanding of God. What feelings does God have? What are his feelings toward his devotees? So Parikshit was saved by Krishna's intervene. So his name became Vishnurat, one who is protected by Vishnu. So another name of Parikshit is Vishnurat, one who is Vishnurat, one who is protected by Vishnu. And why his name was Parikshit? Because when Parikshit took birth, and every time he was looking, who was that personality who came into the womb and saved me? So he was looking for it. He was doing parikshana. He was examining, is he the person who protected me? Is he the person who protected me? Is he the person who protected me? So because he was examining, parikshan kar rahe the, therefore his name became Parikshit. And one day he saw Krishna and he admired, yes, he is the person who actually protected me. So this is the story how Lord protected Parikshit. Now, when the whole life Parikshit was a very powerful, he got trained up very nicely in administrative understanding, in Shastra, everything. And then eventually he became the king of the entire kingdom. Now one day this Parikshit, he was the king and he was traveling around in his kingdom. He was traveling around his kingdom and he felt thirst. He felt thirsty. And he saw that there is one hermitage, one sage is there. So went inside that hermitage and saw the sage, and sage was in complete trance. He was completely absorbed in his meditation. And this person, Parikshit, was feeling thirsty. So much so that he was requesting, sage, please give me water, please give me water. But the sage was completely absorbed in his transcendence. He had no understanding of the outer world. He was completely withdrawn within. His senses were withdrawn. Just he was meditating on the super soul. So what Parikshit thought, that maybe is this sage considering me to be a lower class administrator, because Brahmins are on the Varnashram system. Brahmins are considered to be, on top, and administrative class Kshatriyas are on the second level. So is he considering me like that? Or because I am a worldly man, I engage in worldly affairs, I am a politician, I am a king, so he does not want to interact with me. So many thoughts came into the mind of Parikshit. So, and because he could not receive any water, one snake was there with just close, one dead snake was there near the sage. So out of frustration, Parikshit took that snake with his bow and put on the neck, shoulders of the sage and went away. Now, so, and when Parikshit went, so at that time, the sage his name was Shamik Rishi, and Shamik's son was Shringi when he was taking bath in river. So someone told Shringi that, Shringi, your father has been mistreated by the king. And Shringi became extremely angry. Even without understanding what happened, what not happened, what he did, right sitting there in the water, Shringi cursed the king that within the 7 days from today, whoever has done this mischievous act with my father should die. So Shringi cursed King Parikshit. Shringi. His name was Shringi. Small Brahmana, Shamik. Yeah. So Shringi was a small Brahmana child and he cursed Parikshit that within 7 days he'll die. So Parikshit was about to return to his kingdom, and he landed, he went to his kingdom and somebody informed him that you have received such and such curse from the son of the sage and you are going to die within 7 days. You know what Parikshit did? Parikshit, now he was feeling very thirsty, he was exhausted, he was very tired. What he should have done? He should have gone to home, took some maza, some Coca-Cola, relaxed for a certain while. Then he should have thought, what should I do? Is it not? But as Parikshit heard that I have been cursed by the son of this sage, he said to his son, Janmejay, son of Parikshit is Janmejay, you became the king, you take over the kingdom, I am leaving and preparing myself for death. So after 7 days I am going to die. So now this is the warning period, this is the notice period, and I need to prepare myself for death. And immediately he left the kingdom. While after coming from that sage hermitage to his kingdom, during his entire journey he was lamenting, actually what I have done, I should not have done like this. I should not have mistreated the Vaishnava, I should not have mistreated the sage. He was lamenting. And by the time he entered his kingdom, he got this news that within 7 days you are going to die. And he gave his responsibilities, handed over to his son, and immediately went off to prepare himself for death. Now my question arises, when he was totally fatigued, totally exhausted, and now he is immediately giving up his kingdom and going. So that moment, that thirst, that exhaustion, that fatigue, that frustration was created. How it was created? What was the cause of that frustration? So for ordinary person like we all, our frustration, our thirst, our fatigue is from because of our imperfections. We have got this body. Body means you'll have fatigue, you have exertion, you'll have frustration, you'll have anxiety, you'll have stress, you have hunger, thirst, anger, envy, everything. All these malices are because of the body. But Parikshit is not an ordinary person. He is the pure devotee of the Lord. So much so that the Lord personally protected him when he was in his mother's womb. So my point is, the fatigue that aroused in Parikshit, Parikshit case, it is not like ours. That was the plan of the Supreme Lord, so that this Supreme Lord has planned in such a way that when Parikshit will be cursed and he'll leave his kingdom, he'll prepare himself for death, he will go to the Shukdev Goswami, the son of Vyasdev, and from him he will inquire that now I am going to die, what are my duties? And Shukdev Goswami will narrate the Srimad Bhagavatam. Makes sense? So just for this advent of Srimad Bhagavatam, this entire scene was created by the will of the Supreme Lord. Another example I can give, Valmiki. What happened with Valmiki? When Valmiki saw that someone was, that there was a pair of birds meeting together. At that time, one hunter, just like hunter, he shooted the pair of that birds. And when Valmiki saw that when these birds were lamenting because the male bird died, the female bird was lamenting. And when Valmiki saw, and Valmiki was completely taken aback by this case, by this incident. And Valmiki cursed the hunter, the shooter. And what was the curse? He said, just like these pairs of birds, they are lamenting, you'll also lament throughout your life, something like that. And after cursing, Valmiki was lamenting. Why he was lamenting? He was thinking that, people receive pain and happiness and distress by their own karma. Who am I to interfere? Now, these pair of birds, whatever they are going through, it is because of their previous karma. And the shooter, if he has done something wrong, then the laws of nature will naturally punish him. Why I am interfering by cursing him? Why I should have attachment to the bird and I should have aversion to the shooter? So I should remain neutral. Actually, everyone should remain neutral. But then I interfered by giving curse. So it was not right from my side. At that time, he realized that the curse that came out from my mouth, it is in a very poetic meter in Sanskrit. And then I thought, why this very beautiful poetic meter has come up? At that time, Lord Brahma appeared and told Valmiki that this is the indication because soon you are going to write Ramayana. So you have been blessed by this poetic comprehension. So this particular incident that took place in Valmiki's life was for the advent of Ramayana, and what this particular incident that took place in Parikshit's life is for the advent of Srimad Bhagavatam. So actually Parikshit was, yes, Parikshit did something wrong, but it was not that he did something wrong. When something happens in the life of pure devotees, you should not take it ordinary incidences. So for example, Srila Prabhupada failed in his family life. His industries, his factory, his business got collapsed. His family life was very troublesome. At one certain point, he was on a top of his corporate position, and gradually he diminished, collapsed. So much so that one day he has to leave his home. So much family troubles. Now someone may ask, Prabhupada's family life was not very, good. But why it was not good? Because it was intervened by Krishna. It was planned by Krishna. Makes sense? If something happens in the life of pure devotees, there is a higher purpose for that. There is always some higher purpose. So therefore, intelligent people try to see the higher purpose, not the immediate thing that has taken place. And not just in life of purity, actually in everyone's life, whatever incidences are happening today, it has some higher purpose for tomorrow. That is how, and therefore when devotees are in this consciousness, they are always positive. Parikshit left home. He took the shelter of Shukdev Goswami, the son of Vyasdev, and inquired from him, I am going to die in 7 days. What are my duties? What should I do? And Shukdev Goswami narrated beautiful Srimad Bhagavatam. And what is this Srimad Bhagavatam? Srimad Bhagavatam is the science of God. It's the window by which we can directly see into the life of Krishna, life of God. Out of all the literature, it is considered to be Nigam Kalpataror Galitam Phalam. All the Vedic literature are compared to be tree. And the ripened fruit of this tree is Srimad Bhagavatam. It is Vangmaya avatar. It is literally the avatar of Lord Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam is non-different from the Lord. If Srimad Bhagavatam is there in your home, that means Lord Krishna is there in your home. It is said Puran Arko Adunodita. When it says Krishna Swadham Upagate Dharma Jnanadi Visaha. When Krishna went back to his kingdom, spiritual world, and with him Krishna Swadham Upagate. Krishna Swadham Upagate. Krishna went back to his kingdom. Dharma Jnanadi Visaha. And with Krishna, who all went away? Dharma went away. Gyan went away. Adi bhi, etc. All the virtues like dharma and jnana, they went away with Krishna. So now consider that from some place, dharma went away, jnana went away, and all these good virtues went away. What will be the condition of that place? What do you think? If from some place, dharma went away, jnana went away, what will be the situation? Hellish. Light went away. Then what will be the situation? Darkness. Dharma Jnanadi Visaha. And at that time, Puran Arko Adunodita. Nasht Kalau Nasht Drishamesha. In Kalau, in this age of Kali Yuga, Nasht Drishamesha. Those whose eyes are blinded by the darkness of this age of Kali. Actually, our eyes are relative. Like eyes are seeing because the sun is there, because the light is there. You remove the light source, even if you have the potency to see something, you cannot see. Why? Because our eyes are dependent upon light. So in this age of Kali Yuga, it is called age of darkness. So you may have eyes, but this entire darkness because of Kali Yuga. Kalau to drasht nisha. Kalau nasht drishamesha. In the darkness of Kali Yuga, even you have eye, you cannot see anything. Then you need, in darkness you need light, torch light, or any other source of light. So Kalau Nasht Drishamesha Puran Arko Adhunodita. This Puran, Srimad Bhagavatam, Ark means sun, Adhunodita has appeared. So when Srimad Bhagavatam has appeared? When Srimad Bhagavatam appeared? When Krishna Sudham Upagate. When Krishna went back to his kingdom, spiritual world. And with Krishna, who all went away? Dharma Jnana Adi Bhi Saha. Dharma, Jnana and etc. More virtues like this went away with Krishna. What was left? What was left then? Kalau, Kali, age of Kali, darkness of age of Kali. And to show us the path in this darkness of age of Kali, what has appeared? Srimad Bhagavatam. Puran Arko. Ark means sun. This Puran, Srimad Bhagavatam, is compared with the sun which has appeared in this darkness of age of Kali to eradicate the darkness, so that we can have the clear vision. Is the story very relative? Can you connect it? What happened in the life of Parikshit? What happened in the life of Valmiki? So from this life of Parikshit, what has come up? Ultimately, the Srimad Bhagavatam has appeared. Srimad Bhagavatam is narrated by Shukdev Goswami to King Parikshit. What he inquired from Shukdev Goswami? What Parikshit asked Shukdev Goswami? For what should I do? When? So I am going to die within 7 days. What are my duties? So after how many days we are going to die? Huh? We are also going to die in 7 days. Either we will die on Monday, or on Tuesday, or on Wednesday, or on Thursday, or on Friday, or Saturday, or Sunday. So we are going to die in 7 days only. Yes or no? So we are going to die in 7 days only. Fortunately, Parikshit Maharaj had this notice period. Exact moment of death he knew. Unfortunately, we do not. So just like Parikshit Maharaj was preparing himself, we should also be in preparing mood. Spiritual life is all about preparing oneself for the final exam. What is the final exam? Death is the final exam. That is the finalist exam. Hare Krishna. Actually, I was about to narrate another story, but anyway, I missed that. Next session I will complete. Any questions? हाँ, कई बार बोला है. Lord Krishna has narrated Bhagavad Gita many times at different places. Srimad Bhagavatam also. Anytime when devotees discuss this is Srimad Bhagavatam appeared also many times. Shukdev Goswami narrated to Parikshit, Shaunak Adi Rishi, Sutta Goswami narrated to Shaunak and other rishis. So this is how multiple times Srimad Bhagavatam. Lord Shiva has narrated Srimad Bhagavatam to Parvati. So many times it has been narrated. But the essence is the same. Essence of Srimad Bhagavatam is devotion to the Supreme Lord. Anyway, I'll just complete one more. This is interesting story. Okay, so this is connected story, therefore I'll just complete it today. So once upon a time, this same King Parikshit, before this incident happened, he was roaming around in his kingdom. Okay, and when he was roaming around in his kingdom, he saw that one cow and one bull, they were crying, they were lamenting, and bull was standing on one leg. How many legs bull have? But he was standing on one leg and he was lamenting. And then Parikshit heard about their conversation. Cow and bull were conversing, and Parikshit heard that. Actually, Parikshit went to the bull and asked that you are in such precarious condition. Who made this condition? Like, who cut 3 of your legs?
Both cow and
only bull. So bull 3 legs were cut off, chopped off. He was standing on one leg. And Parikshit, when he saw his condition, he was extremely grief-stricken. In my kingdom, your situation is like this. Who has done this to you? And let me teach him a lesson. Actually, the standard was, if somebody kills a cow or bull, he must not be punished. He must be killed. That is the standard in the scriptures. So when Parikshit asked this to the bull didn't reply anything. If I am asking you, who did this to you? And you will say, he did. That means, according to Shastra, because you are, if I am asking you that, who slapped you? You will say, Akash has slapped you. That means Akash is what you did? You are actually doing chugli. You know? So that is also considered to be adharma. Because you are giving complaints about someone, that is considered to be, it's not considered very good thing, high thing in the Vedic scenario. So when Parikshit asked the bull, who chopped your legs? Bull never answered anything. He said, actually, if somebody has slapped you, it is not that he has slapped you. You must have done something in your past and you are getting the karmic result. You must have slapped someone in past and result is you got slapped today. So bull said, whatever is happening to me is because of my own karma. So I don't want to say that who chopped my legs. So Parikshit understood. Parikshit was very intelligent. He said, since you are not telling that who has done this to you, you must be dharma personified. You are sakshat dharma. Because otherwise you won't be stick to this principle. Somebody has chopped your legs and you are not speaking anything. So this particular, the story has certain points. Dharma stands on 4 legs, out of which 3 legs have chopped off. One was there. So dharma stands on 4 legs. So note this down. I was about to narrate this particular point, but anyway, dharma stands on 4 legs. What are the 4 legs of dharma? First is austerity. Dharma stands on 4 legs. Austerity. Then come austerity, mercy, cleanliness, and truthfulness. These are the 4 legs of dharma. What are the 4 legs of dharma? Austerity. Austerity means tapasya, tapa. Austerity means tapasya, tap. Mercy means daya. Cleanliness means swachhata, shaucham. And then 4th is truthfulness. So these are the 4 legs of dharma. So dharma is standing on these 4 legs. When somebody takes intoxicants, he is breaking the first leg of dharma. Right in front of austerity, right? Intoxication. In front of austerity, make it the point. Austerity dash intoxicants. So when somebody is taking intoxication means नशा, किसी भी प्रकार का नशा, सिगरेट, दारू, बीड़ी, LSD, मैरिजुना, ब्राउन शुगर, हेरोइन, मॉर्फिन, पेट्रोल. लोग पेट्रोल से नशा कर लेते हैं. नहीं करते कॉलेज में? नहीं किया, कोई बात नहीं. आजकल बड़े बड़े नशे अवेलेबल है, तो पेट्रोल को क्या करें? कर लेते भाई, गांव में सब कर जाते हैं. स्नेक बाइट बहुत आप लोग को ज्ञान है. सो ऑल दिस इंटॉक्सिकेशंस. इस्कॉन में एक और चीज़ ऐड होती है, टी कॉफ़ी. चाय और कॉफ़ी भी नशे के अंतर्गत आता है. पीते हो क्या? नशा नहीं है? नशा है कि नहीं है? इज इट इंटॉक्सिकेशन और नॉट? लत लग जाती है लोगों को, लगती है कि नहीं लगती है? नशा ही है. आप जब बोलेंगे छोड़ दूंगा, छोड़ दो. नहीं, जैसे जब छोड़ने की जब इच्छा करी तब छोड़ दूंगा. अरे अभी छोड़ दो, वो तो मेरे हाथ में है. जब छोड़ने की इच्छा करी तब छोड़ दूंगा. इसका अर्थ क्या है? इसका है ना, ही इज ऑलरेडी ही इज अटैच्ड, कैन नॉट गिव अप. निकोटीन एंड कैफीन, या दे आर इंटॉक्सिकेंट्स. सो इंटॉक्सिकेशन breaks the principle of austerity. Intoxication breaks the principle of austerity. So when one takes intoxicants, that means he is breaking one leg of dharma. He is breaking this principle of austerity. Second is mercy. So when mercy get collapsed? Meat eating. When we have meat eating, that means daya finished. So another principle of dharma is daya, mercy. So it get, when one takes meat eating, is breaking this leg of dharma. Third is cleanliness. So how one breaks the principle of cleanliness? By illicit sex. So illicit sex means breaking the principle of cleanliness. Another leg. What all comes under the category of illicit sex? Sex outside marriage. That comes under the category of illicit sex. Pornography. That comes under the category of illicit sex. Masturbation. That comes under the category of illicit sex. So these are all breaking of another leg of dharma.
जब ये परीक्षित जब वो पुल के पास गए तो अगर वो इलिसिट सेक्स जो है तो पोर्न और मास्टरबेशन तो नहीं था।
हाँ तो अब तो है ना।
अब है मतलब
उस समय नहीं था, उस समय पोर्नोग्राफी नहीं थी, उस समय मास्टरबेशन नहीं था। कैसे नहीं था?
हो गया मगर पोर्नोग्राफी तो नहीं
था। अब डिजिटल तरह से नहीं था, उस दूसरे तरीके थे। हाँ, there were different ways. Pornography was is existing from time immemorial. And in fact, on those times there were. I'll just come to that point. During the reign of Parikshit, I'll just come to that point. But yeah, these are the principles of dharma. And fourth is truthfulness. Truthfulness goes when one engages in what we say, gambling. गैम्बलिंग एक्चुअली ट्रूथफुलनेस कई तरीके से जाता है, गैम्बलिंग उसका मेजर सोर्स है। जुआ, सट्टा, वहाँ गेम्स आते हैं ना, मोबाइल में गेम्स आते हैं, उसमें पैसा लगाओ। झूठ नहीं बोले, उसमें आपका माइंड पूरा एब्जॉर्ब रहता है। सच्चाई से आपका मन हट जाता है। भाई सच्चाई क्या है? मेहनत करो, पैसा कमाओ, ये सच्चाई है ना। सत्यता तो ये है ना कि परिश्रम से फल मिलता है, तो वो फल टिकता है। हम परिश्रम नहीं करना चाहते हैं, और हम क्या करना चाहते हैं? इधर से उधारी लेके, उधर से उधारी लेके लगाते जाते लोग लुटते चले जाते हैं। जस्ट क्वाइट रिसेंटली लास्ट वीक वन बॉय केम टू मी, ही लॉस्ट हिज 1 lakh rupees, and that too it was not his money. He invested 1000 rupees, got 2000 rupees. Invested 2000 rupees, got 4000 rupees. Then so okay, invested 10,000 rupees, got 20,000 rupees. Invested 50,000 rupees, lost. This is how they do. And when हमको अभी नहीं पता, you'll not be able to understand because you have not suffered that. One who has suffered, you ask him. It's very dangerous. Very दलदल कहते हैं ना, दलदल क्या बोलते हैं इंग्लिश में? क्या बोलते हैं दलदल को? What do you call दलदल in English? जो भी है, very dangerous. हाँ, quicksand. So I have seen people falling in the trap. People commit suicide because of that. So these are the 4 principles of dharma. What are the 4 legs of dharma? 4 principles of dharma: austerity, mercy, cleanliness, and truthfulness. And when one takes to intoxicants, he breaks the principle of austerity. When he takes to meat eating, he breaks the principle of mercy. When one takes to illicit sex, he breaks the principle of cleanliness. And one takes to gambling and similar other activities, he breaks the principle of truthfulness. Cheating, actually the right word is cheating. It comes in the category of cheating, gambling and cheating. So these are the 4 principles of dharma, and these are the 4 ways by which one breaks this principle. And therefore in ISKCON we follow this standard. When someone takes initiation in ISKCON, he take the vows. So for example, when I received my initiation, so my spiritual master asked me, what are the 4 regulatory principles? I said, no meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication, and no illicit sex. And chanting of Hare Krishna Maha Mantra at least 16 hours every day throughout my life. So these are the principles of dharma. Actually, when Parikshit was roaming around in his kingdom, he saw one person. He was black in his appearance, dressed like a king, and he asked, who are you? You appear, you're by bodily effulgence, you appear a very dark person, appearing in you have wearing ornaments and dress like a king, who you are? And he said, I am Kali and my time has come. So this Dwapar Yuga is ending and Kali Yuga is starting. So this I am Kali personified. So Parikshit said that, Hare Krishna. So Parikshit said that, what are you doing? What are you doing in my kingdom? He said, sir, my time has come. And now by the laws of nature, it's my age. So Parikshit said, okay, but I cannot allow you to stay everywhere. Because Parikshit understood that this is the person who has actually chopped the legs of bull. So Parikshit wanted to kill Kali. And then Kali took shelter of Parikshit. No, please don't kill me. Give me some place to stay in your kingdom. And Parikshit said, okay, I'll give you this place, because it is the principle of the Kshatriya. And when somebody surrenders to the Kshatriya, Kshatriya takes care. So Parikshit said, okay, I'll take care of you, I'll keep you, but I cannot give you entire kingdom. What you do is, you stay in 4 places. Where there is meat eating, where there is intoxication, where there is gambling, and where there is illicit sex. So Kali moved around the entire kingdom of Parikshit, looked after these places, but he said, I haven't found a single place where these things are going on. So just see, 5,000 years ago, Prabhupada used to say, like, these principles were hardly available. So then Parikshit said, okay, fine, but anyway, so then give me some 5th place. And then Parikshit gave him 5th place. Okay, the wealth or gold which is not being utilized in the Lord's service, you can stay there. So the money or wealth, when it is not utilized for God's service, it gives birth to Kali.
Gold is not used in Lord's service.
The gold, that which is not used in Lord's service, that is meant for my sense gratification. I'm not, if gold or wealth.
God is also using gold in
I am saying, if you have money, if that money is not used for God's service, then what you will use this money for? For sense gratification. Sense gratification involves what all things? These things. Any party, I am saying I am going for party. Party without meat eating. Party without intoxicants. Party without illicit sex. Is it a party? Yes or no? रियल पार्टी मीन्स बॉलीवुड गाने सुनने चाहिए, उसमें अश्लील गाने कुछ बजने चाहिए, अश्लील नाच होना चाहिए, दैट इज कॉल्ड पार्टी. अभी इस्कॉन में पार्टी अलग हो गई, हम समझते हैं. अभी हमारी पार्टी अलग तरह से होती है. एनीवे पार्टी मीन्स व्हाट? यू गोइंग फॉर पार्टी, सेंस ग्रेटिफिकेशन. what are these what all things sense gratification involve? These things. So money, if I am not using for Krishna's party, I am using for my party. So where I will use my money for? These places. So what the Parikshit said, okay, you stay in the money that is not used for Lord's service. That means the money that is not used for Lord's service will give birth to Kali. Give birth to all these 4 bad tendencies. Last point. Kali means what? Jhagda, Kalaha. So therefore this age is called age of quarrel and hypocrisy. Jhagda, everywhere fighting. Within family fighting, brother fighting, father mother fighting, father child fighting, governments fighting, countries fighting, states fighting. Rasgulla किसका है? Odisha, Bengal fighting. Everywhere fighting. Age of quarrel and hypocrisy. So if somebody wants to counteract Kali, what they have to do? They have to safeguard themselves from these 4 bad tendencies. These are called 4 regulative principles. I know it is difficult. Actually, it is difficult in the days of Kali. Following these 4 regulative principles are not easy. But if we really want to go in the path of dharma, then we have to follow. And Kaler dosha nidhe rajan asti eko mahan guna kirtanadeva krishnasya mukta sangha param brajet. It is Shukdev Goswami told Parikshit that Kaler dosha nidhe rajan, O king, this Kali Yuga is ocean of faults. So many bad things are there. Dosha nidhe rajan. Dosh means faults. Nidhi means ocean. Kali Yuga is ocean of faults. But asti eko mahan guna. There is one mahan guna. There is one good quality in this age of Kali. What is the good quality? Simply by chanting of the holy name. Kirtana deva Krishnasya. Simply by chanting the Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Simply by this chanting of the Maha Mantra, chanting of the holy name of Lord, Krishna, Kirtana deva Krishnasya, Mukta Sangha. One can easily be freed from all these bad things. And Param Brajit can go back home, back to Godhead, can purify himself. So therefore, if we really want to safeguard ourselves from the ill effects of Kali Yuga, we need to follow these 4 regulatory principles and chant the Maha Mantra every day. As simple as this. Iti Shodashaka Namnam Kali Kalmasha Nashanam Nata Partaropaya Sarva Vedeshu Drishyate. It is said that the 16 names, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. It is Shodashaka Namnam Kali Kalmasha Nashanam. This mantra is sufficient for killing the ill effects of Kali Yuga. Kali Kalmasha Nashanam. Kalmash means the contamination. Nashanam means to destroy. So, iti shodashaka namnam Kali Kalmasha Nashanam. Nata Partaropaya. There is no better remedy than this. Sarva Vedeshu Drishyate. After seeing all the Vedas, after referring to all the Vedas, all the scriptures, one has come to the conclusion that this is the best remedy by which one can safeguard from oneself from the ill effects of Kali Yuga. So what one has to do to safeguard oneself from the ill effects of Kali Yuga? The chanting the Maha Mantra every day and follow the 4 regulatory principles. Hare Krishna. Anything else? Is it clear or is it difficult to understand? Yeah.
मीट ईटिंग है मगर प्याज लहसुन तो नहीं है.
हाँ.
तो प्याज लहसुन तो खा सकते हैं. मीट ईटिंग इसको छोड़ देंगे, मीट ईटिंग छोड़ देंगे, प्याज लहसुन तो खा सकते हैं. खाइए. Onion, garlic are considered to be tamasic, and therefore anyone who is practicing dharma tries to avoid it. They are tamasic. What is the origin of onion and garlic? From the blood and bones of cow. Shastras says. So therefore it is considered to be non-veg only. भगवान मल क्यों बनाए हैं? आपके लिए बनाए हैं क्या? भगवान मल बनाए, सृष्टि किए हैं, क्यों किए हैं? आप छोड़ते वही मल किसी कोई बड़े प्रेम से खाता है, तो हर चीज आपके खाने के लिए नहीं है. समझ रहे ना? ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड दिस पॉइंट. देयर आर थिंग्स इन दिस वर्ल्ड, इट्स नॉट एवरीथिंग इज फॉर योर कंजम्पशन. If there are many things, but if you want to advance in some certain thing, then gradually you have to give up. These principles are not recommended for everyone actually. Animals cannot follow these principles. And there are uncivilized classes, those who are living in jungles and all. You cannot apply all these principles to them. This is for the civilized class of men, those who are advancing towards the perfection of human life, human evolution, spiritual life. For them, these are the principles. So if we are sincere about our spiritual development, we need to follow. If we do not want to follow, if we do not want to go ahead spiritually, then these principles are not for us. So how much sleep is required? 7 to 8 hours. But as one advances in spiritual life, his sleep decreases. Prabhupada used to sleep only for 2 hours. So bodily it is not practical. But Prabhupada was completely perfect. Why? Because once he has reached to that platform, the bodily necessities become decreased. Sex is important, but there are brahmacharis, those who have given sex for 30, 40 years. Whole life they have remained celibates. So it is hard to imagine how one can avoid sex. There are grihastha couple, married couples, they have sex only for procreation, not for enjoyment. Hard to believe. Why? Because they have advanced in their spiritual life that these things have become insignificant to them, not really important to them. So what to say of onion, garlic? If somebody wants to advance in spiritual life, these principles are very clear.
There is no question or debate whether it is a veg or non-veg. Food is, if even it is vegetarian food without onion garlic, if it is not offered to Krishna, we do not eat it. We should not eat it. We should only eat that is offered to Krishna. That is even higher principle. Non-veg food with onion garlic, vegetarian food with onion garlic, vegetarian food without onion garlic, and then comes Krishna Prasadam. That is offered to the Lord. And there are sages, there were sages, even to advance in their spiritual, they don't even eat grains, only they'll take some fruits and milk, that's all. Why? Because as they are advancing spiritual life, they are understanding importance of their dietary plans, and accordingly they are shifting, adjusting themselves. Of course, in ISKCON we do not restrict. We have, okay, just take Krishna Prasad, and we have varieties of Krishna Prasad. You can eat anything and everything, but that should be made by a devotee, offered to the Lord. So gradually, and interestingly, whole world is following this standard now. Everywhere you'll find ISKCON, everywhere devotees are following this principle. So not at all difficult. You just imagine the condition, those who are born and brought up in meat-eating families, right from their childhood eating cow flesh, and they have given up everything and they are taking Krishna Prasadam only. How come? Because they are advancing in their spiritual life and they have understood the philosophy. For them it is not difficult now. And are they lamenting, oh, I have given up non-veg, I have given up intoxication? No. Because they are getting taste in their spiritual life. Just by the dint of that taste, they can avoid this. Okay. Anything else? His incarnation of the Lord. Incarnation means he has been specially empowered by the Lord. He is not Vishnu himself, but he has been empowered by Vishnu. Anything else? हमको दे दो. नहीं, डिपेंड. देखो, एक्चुअली स्टैंडर्ड होता है कि one should in 50% of one's income should be used in Krishna's service, directly given for preaching services. But practically in this age it is not possible. If someone will do 50%, he cannot survive. Then at least in all religions, as in Christianity, in Islam, it is recommended at least 10% one should give. Whatever you are earning, if you are earning 10 rupees, you should give 1 rupee to Krishna. If you are earning 100 rupees, you should give 10 rupees to Krishna. If your income is 10,000 rupees, give 1,000 rupees for Krishna. If you are earning 1 lakh rupees salary, give 10,000 rupees to Krishna. At least 10% of one's income should go. So for brahmacharis, they have given their entire life. But those who are not brahmacharis, those they will be working out, and they will be running their business, they will be doing income, they will be living in their family life. But their duty is to help the brahmacharis, those who are preaching Krishna consciousness. And how to help? Help has multiple aspects, but the best help is monetary help. You need to give monetary help, because otherwise how any movement to run, it requires money and manpower. So manpower is coming from brahmacharis. The money power, grihasthas have to have at least 10% of their income. This is how their income get purified. And you know what? Giving one's wealth is equivalent to giving one's life. Therefore, there are two types of prana. One is internal prana, other is external prana. These are called prana. As painful, giving this is as painful as giving this. Yes or no? जीवन ले लेता है ना, तो therefore it is external prana. So it is one's duty. Whoever is earning anything, 10% of that income minimum should be spent for Krishna conscious cause. When I was working, I was giving my 50%. When I was doing my job, I was earning around 50,000-60,000 rupees at that time. I worked for 4-5 months, that's all. So 50% directly for preaching. But no, I'm not recommending everyone 50%. At least 10%. Okay. नहीं आता है. आपके काम, आपके परिवार के काम में लगे, आपके काम में लगेगा, तो आप भगवान की सेवा करेंगे. आपका शरीर भगवान की सेवा करेगा, भोजन खाएंगे, तो भोजन धन से आएगा. धन भी तो अल्टीमेटली भगवान की सेवा में ही लगा ना. तो 10% डायरेक्ट सेवा में लगे और 90% इनडायरेक्ट सेवा में लगे. सबको भगवान की सेवा, जीवन ये एक सांस भगवान की सेवा में लगनी चाहिए आइडियली. हमारी जो भी वृत्ति, वॉट एवर क्वालिटीज वी हैव रिसीव, वॉट एवर वी आर डूइंग, इट ऑल एवरीथिंग मस्ट बी सर्व्ड, इट मस्ट बी ऑफर्ड टू कृष्णा. यत् करोसि यत् अस्नासि यत् जीवसि ददासि यत् तपस्यसि कौन्तेय तत् कुरुष्व मदर्पणम. Everything offered to me. So everything should be offered actually. That is the perfection of one's life. Okay. Anything else? Oh. No questions? I always expect questions from your side. Good questions. Powerful questions.
I was having two confusions, but not everyone will consume more time. Like everyone is there, they're having.
Okay, fine. Not at all an issue. Akshay, whatever I told, is it clear? Is it understandable? Akash, sorry. Whatever I told makes sense?
Oji, now you will go to library or?
Yeah, I'll go to library. I'll stay there for some time. Thank you very much for your patient listening. Hare Krishna. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय. श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. बंद कर दो.